Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be reviewing the Magicshine Seemee 150 Smart Bike Light Combo Set. Magicshine Seemee lineup of bike lights offers a wide range of options from budget-friendly B-scene lights to innovative dual-beam style taillights. The Seemee 150 that we have here is one of the latest additions to the Seemee lineup and is offered both as a light combo set with the front and rear taillight or as a taillight only option. We don't have the original packaging here as we're getting an early look at these lights, but you can see the basic contents. So we'll go ahead and just jump right into the specs. Retail price on the light set is $69.99. You can also buy the taillight for $39.99 by itself. Obviously the front and rear combination set. And it has 150 lumens for both the headlight and the taillight thanks to the Cobb LED design. You also have 260-degree visibility due to the nice transparent edges. So really great for urban riding or more acute angles to make sure you're actually still visible. And as with a lot of the Seemee products, these are smart lights, so they actually have motion and ambient light sensors directly built in that allow it to automatically adjust the output mode and even detect braking and adjust the output mode again. In terms of what comes with these, you would get a user manual for each, which we don't have here, but otherwise you would get the mount. So it's a standard rubber mount with a Garmin style quarter turn mount. It is not the same size as a standard Garmin mount because obviously these are smaller, just downsized, but same quarter turn, nice and secure. You get 2 zip ties for the saddle mount to really secure it in place. This goes right on your saddle rails and has that same quarter turn mount directly built in. And you get a micro USB charging cable and then obviously one for each of these. It would have been nice to see USB Type-C, but currently the whole Seemee lineup still uses the micro USB interface. Now let's take a look at the weight of the setup. So we'll look at the front light by itself. That comes in at 24 grams. Next we'll put the tail light. So slightly more at 26. And then we have the handlebar or C-post mount. They're actually identical, so I'll just weigh one of them. That's 12 grams. And then the saddle mount, which is simple plastic construction, that comes in at 6 grams. Visually, the Seemee 150 has a very familiar design. It's actually very similar to the Seemee 200, except for the bottom LED. And actually, it's very similar to the O-Light variation of the Magicshine lights, which is one of the rebranded variations. So you have a Cobb LED strip around it. And it's a really nice design. With the Cobb LED, you get a nice uniform glow, and then that center LED, which gives you that long distance visibility. You can see it uses a total internal reflection lens, so inside there's a reflector. So nice and bright and focused, while the outer one gives you that uniform glow. You can also see when the light is on, you have nice transparent body, so you get the nice visibility from high angles, which is really critical for urban riding. Make sure you're actually seen. The headlight and taillight are nearly identical. Obviously the color on this one is white, while the taillight is red, but otherwise share almost identical properties. They both have a power button on top, and what's great about the Seemee lineup is they all have a very simple multi-level battery checker. This is a feature I wish most lights had, because when you grab your light, you don't know how much battery you have. With this, you just press it, and it'll show you green, red, or flashing red to give you an idea of what the battery is, so you can charge it before you ride. The interface itself is also very simple. Hold it to turn it on. Single button to cycle through the various modes. And they've actually simplified these compared to the Seemee 180 or 200. So you have less modes to choose from and a lot easier to navigate. On the rear, you have that Garmin style quarter turn mount. So you have 2 tabs on the edge and they have a corresponding slot on the mount. So you rotate it 45 degrees. And then it's very secure. So nice setup. You can easily pop this off when you're not riding to charge it or just for commuting. You also have both mounts. So this is the saddle mount, which is really nice. So it puts it right on top of right under your saddle and gets it really nice high visibility. So if you don't have a saddlebag, this is a great option. On the back, you have the micro USB charging port, which again, we wish was a USB Type-C. But hopefully on the next variation of these lights, they will add that. And it's protected by this nice rubber cover. And then very minimal branding. The only way I found to really tell apart these lights, since they're almost identical, is that yellow color here. So you can see the front light has a yellow coloring while the tail light does not. So that's one easy indicator. And there is a product name printed on here in small lettering. Now let's take a look at the output modes of the Seemee 150. There are 4 different modes for the front light. You have 2 constant modes, low, high, and the high is a full 150 lumen. Then you have the flash mode, which is a full strength 150 down to 0. As well as an eco mode, which is great for longer distance rides for 31 hours. The rear taillight has a couple more options. You have the standard low high, where high is 45 lumens and over 5-hour runtime. Then you have a flash mode for 45 lumens and 16 hours. Eco mode again, which gives you full 44 hours, so great for longer distances. The smart mode switches between day mode, which you can see here, so daytime visible, and then nighttime it switches between this low high mode, and it does that automatically. Here you can see the daytime flash on the road, really great visibility. It's very bright at 150 lumens. And here you can see the eco front flash, which is great for longer distance rides and just makes sure you're seen. Now the other feature with this taillight is the rear brake sensor. So with this one, it can actually detect when you're braking, but as with any brake sensor, it's never perfect. So you can see when you're riding here, it actually just triggered accidentally, even though you weren't slowing down. It doesn't know when you're braking. It just has a motion detector. That said, it still does work well. So you can see when you come to a stop, the light switches to that full solid mode and it helps you be seen. But again, it's hit or miss and the brake sensor can reduce your runtime. So I do recommend turning it off, and that's what I typically do. That just makes sure you get consistent run times, but for urban settings, you can leave it on. And the great thing is Magicshine has left that option, so you can choose what works for you. Now let's compare the Seemee 150 and other lights on the market. Here we have the Seemee 200. It's actually the version 2, which has improved programming and better runtime. You can see very similar design. You have the same rectangular profile, the cob LED strip around it, and the center LED. The 200 obviously is 200 lumens. Same sensor set, but with this one you have the tracer LED, so it actually points downward, and you can see adds a little bit of bulk, but it has a very cool illumination pattern. So at night, you can see that bottom LED really lights up the road. This one is the more simple and more affordable than the Seemee 200. What the Seemee 150 really reminds me of are the Bontrager lights. This is the Ion, as well as the Flare RT. So you can see same rectangular design. Bontrager has really focused on just long range visibility. So these are a single LED, so right down the center, instead of having the cob LED strip around it. So otherwise very similar design, rectangular profile, very compact. And what's great about these style lights is you just throw them on your bike, use them as secondary lights, or just forget they're there because they're so tiny and lightweight. The one nice thing about the Bontrager lights is that they do have Bluetooth connectivity, so you can actually see the battery status on a compatible Garmin unit, while the Seemee 150 doesn't have that feature, but obviously that feature is limited to certain headsets only and adds quite a bit to the price. The Bontrager also has better long distance visibility as the beam is a little bit more focused, as they don't have that extra cob LED strip. The other light in the Seemee lineup is the 60, so you can see it almost looks like a iPhone product with the bezel around it. Same cob LED strip, brake sensor, but over the years they've just gotten better at it. So the Seemee 150 has a little better tuning than the previous 60, but same Garmin style mount. It's just a lot sleeker and more modern visual appearance. There are other taillights on the market. Here we have the Moonsport Cerberus. This actually has 3 LEDs, so it's pretty cool. So you have a strip on the side, the middle, and the back. Again, not as focused because of the cob design. With this one, you do have that center one that's really focused, but bulkier form factor, so you can compare the two, but does sit nicer as far as the taillight sits behind your seat post and more hidden while this is a rectangular or square design. Now let's go over the pros and cons for the Seemee 150. What we like about it is that it has a very compact size, so it fits on any bike and it's easy to forget it's there. Also with the smart mode, the taillight can automatically switch between daytime and nighttime, and even has that brake sensor built in. We also appreciate the fact that Magicshine has kept the multi-level battery status indicator, so with either light you just press the button and it'll illuminate with a multi-level indicator, so you don't have to just rely on a low battery status. Some of the cons for the lights is It's the fact that they do use micro USB ports instead of USB Type-C. And also the front mount orients the power button to the side, which is a little bit strange. It'd be more convenient if it was vertical. And also, as with any brake sensor, you get erratic runtime. So if you're doing really long rides, I recommend turning it off, as the brake sensor can accidentally be triggered even when you're not braking. Taking everything into account would give the Seemee 150 light set a 9.2 out of 10. It's a great compact, bright light set with some nice tech built in. Thanks for watching the review, and don't forget to like and subscribe. You can see more content from us on our website at thesweetcyclist.com, as well as follow us on Instagram at thesweetcyclists. This is The Sweet Cyclist reminding you to enjoy the ride.